This video is about eDiscovery document review. The purpose of the document review is to find documents that will be produced to the opposing side or to the governing body. The simple description of what document review is: a person logs into a database, reads a document, decides is it relevant or not relevant, is it privileged or not privileged, if it's relevant, what issues does it relate to, and does it fall within the scope of targeted production. That's the gist of it. Who's going to do it? It has to be a trained lawyer who is also familiar with the technology, but they can be trained on it. The idea is this is a substantial document review. The person needs to be a trained lawyer because they need to be familiar with the case, the merits of the case, and issues of the case. Have an understanding of what makes a document privileged, confidential, where's the red flag, and if the document is hot or you found a smoking gun that might effectively change the strategy of the case or even potentially make you drop the case. Those people need to be skilled at identifying those documents. And you can imagine, the sooner you can find those key documents, the better it is. Because if you are dealing with a 300,000 document universe that need to be reviewed, finding that hot document that will make you change the strategy of the case as soon as possible, hopefully on day one, will potentially save you days of document review and, of course, unnecessary work on defending or pleading the case. Now, how can you find those documents? One can perform classical searches, targeting keywords, date ranges, certain people, or you could implement machine learning on the back end, and as a trained document reviewer logs into a case and starts reading documents, relevant, not relevant, relevant, the machine follows the reviewer and instantly makes recommendations on what kind of document to review next, with the goal of finding as many relevant documents as possible, as soon as possible. Again, with an idea of defending or dropping the case at early stages. Now, there are several ways to proceed. That would be review all the documents in-house. The corporation has an in-house team or trained professionals who will do the document review. A second way would be to consult with the outside counsel, a hired law firm, and get that team to review the documents. It would be more expensive because lawyers' hourly rate will be applicable, but at the same time, the team who will be drafting the pleadings and defending the case in court are probably the most knowledgeable about the scope of the potential production and what makes the document responsive. And then there is the third way of hiring an eDiscovery vendor who will complete the document review for the corporation and the law firm and work together with the case team, identifying the scope of the documents for the purpose of production. Neither of those ways are wrong or best. It really takes a skilled, experienced person who understands the business and can work with the timeline, also can figure out the optics of the case. If you have 300,000 documents and you have 2 weeks to produce, chances are your in-house team doesn't have that kind of resources dedicated to exclusive document review, where a person logs into the case and spends 8 hours reading documents exclusively and making relevance and privilege calls on every document out of this 300,000 document universe. like I said, there are several factors to consider, and it takes quite a bit of analysis to decide which way to proceed. And speaking about the vendor document review, it might seem like it's going to be a lot more expensive simply because a typical vendor will present you with a quote, with a price estimate how much it will cost to review these documents. But remember this, contract lawyers are typically cheaper than your outside counsel team, and they are dedicated to document review. That is their job, and they do it really well. The only problem is you need to train them. You need to explain the parameters of the case, what you're concerned about, and the case team would need to spend some time preparing the review memorandum, review protocol to train the vendor's team. Now, even though it might take some legal case teams to write that protocol for several days, it really doesn't hurt anyone when planning the case, because once you're writing the memo, it triggers the thinking process and decides on the merits of the case. Now, I'm a big proponent of machine learning and utilization of technology when it comes to document review. There was a discussion between technologists and lawyers, and technology says that lawyers should feel threatened for their jobs because computers can do way better document review and find hidden concepts that lawyers are not trained simply because they're people, and if an insider trading is using a special code. For example, I can tell you, if there is a suspicion of a bribe, you won't see the word bribe in the documents. So searching the review database for the word bribe will either produce 0 document results, or it's completely different concept, has nothing to do with the case, right? I'm bribing my friend to go for lunch with me. That's not really a bribe. So I believe in marrying human reviewers with machine learning and using the best of both worlds, and the computer brain and human brain with experience and school and understanding of concepts with the assistance of the review. Now, machine learning will cost extra money because you pay per gigabyte to turn on the machine learning on the back end of document review. But remembering our goal of finding key documents as soon as possible, as early as possible, and as many as you can at the beginning of document review to assist you with the strategy, I think that it's going to be the money well spent, and potentially can cut on human review and, most importantly, hours. At Wesden, we're familiar with all kinds of document review, and we can come in at any stage, whether in-house or assist a law firm, negotiating between with the vendors and with the governing bodies like Competition Bureau of Canada or the SEC. We could be part of your review team or the production team, or consult either of the aspects, whether on machine learning, TAR 2.0, or on simple linear review and creating batches in the most meaningful ways. Reach out. Let's do document review together.